When did hobbies die? I mean, when was the last time you did something you were genuinely bad at? Not something you were learning for work, not something you could eventually make money from, not something you filmed, posted, tracked, or turned into a 30-day challenge. Just something you did because for a few hours you enjoyed doing it. That question should be easy, but for a lot of us, it probably isn't. At some point, hobbies stopped being things we did and became things we had to justify. They needed to make us fitter or more interesting, more employable, or ideally a bit of extra money. And if they couldn't do any of that, then sitting on our phones somehow felt like the more reasonable use of our time. I think what changed isn't as simple as saying social media ruined it or ruined everything, because I'm probably as guilty of this as anyone. Nearly every hobby I have comes with a scoreboard. Golf has a handicap, jiu-jitsu has belts and stripes, and so does Muay Thai. Chess has a rating, the gym has weight numbers or reps that either go up or stubbornly refuse to. And YouTube might be the clearest example of all. Views, subscribers, retention, click through, an entire page of numbers waiting to tell you whether the thing you made was worth making. The awkward part is, I really like those numbers. I like getting better. I like having something to work towards. Progress can turn a passing interest into something you can stay with for years. So, this isn't going to be some argument that everyone should stop caring and deliberately remain terrible at everything. But I have started wondering whether we've crossed a line. If everything I do for fun needs to take me somewhere, is it actually free time? Or have I just found another way to work? You can see this in the way we talk about hobbies now. If you enjoy taking photos, maybe you should start charging for them or posting them on your Instagram. If you like baking, you could open up a small business or sell your recipes online. If you can draw, sell prints, or teach courses. If you run, enter a race and document the training. If you read, set a yearly target and publish the list. Even the phrase, do what you love, often seems to end with, and find a way to make money from it. I mean, turning an interest into a career can be brilliant. This channel began as something I wanted to build, and I would be lying if I said I didn't care where it goes. But the constant demand to monetize what we love can quietly remove the thing that made us love it in the first place. At the end of the day, I don't care if a video gets 0 views because I enjoyed making it and I put my work out into the world. The moment money enters, other things follow: deadlines, customers, expectations, pressure to be consistent on days when you don't feel like doing it. What used to be an escape from work starts behaving suspiciously like more work. And even when there is no money involved, there often is still an audience. A walk isn't just a walk if it can become a post. A book isn't quite finished until it appears on your story. A new recipe needs a photo before anyone can touch it. We start choosing hobbies partly by how they will look from the outside to strangers online that we don't even know. And that changes the experience. Instead of asking yourself, do I enjoy this? Do I genuinely enjoy this? We begin asking, does this say something interesting about me? And it creates another problem. It makes being a beginner feel embarrassing. Social media shows us the finished painting, not the first 50 that went wrong. We see the song performed perfectly, but not the same 4 bars played badly for 3, 6, even 12 months. We see someone glide through a technique that took them years to learn, then compare it with our first attempt. I mean, recently I've been more open to being a beginner. My first jiu-jitsu class, I didn't have a clue what I was doing, and I was doing everything wrong. I wouldn't say I was called out for it, but it did feel like the constant correcting me felt like I was being targeted. But without that, I would never have got it right, and I would always remain a beginner. And if I was scared of failing or looking bad, then I likely never would have gone in the first place. Logically, we know we're watching the end of someone else's progress online, but emotionally, it can still feel like evidence that we simply aren't built for it. So we avoid starting, or at least once we try, discover that our hands cannot immediately reproduce the version we imagined in our head. and instantly decide that this isn't for us. We assume we have to be talented or perfect to begin with to stick with something, but there's no way around that stage of being a beginner. To become good at anything new, you first have to tolerate being bad at it. You have to miss the golf ball, forget what you're doing halfway through a conversation in another language, get completely lost in your first jiu-jitsu class and get tapped every 5 seconds, or make something you would never want another person to see. The beginning stage is not a sign that you've chosen the wrong hobby. It's the entry fee. You have to pay your dues. But there is one more reason hobbies have disappeared, and it might be the strangest one because we just often say we don't have time for them. And to be fair, many people are genuinely always busy, working, studying, commuting, maybe even caring for people. Free time is not distributed evenly among people. And I don't think someone working two jobs needs to be lectured about learning like pottery or something. But there's also a version of I don't have time that really means my free time disappeared before I decided to do with it because it was taken from me. I mean, Ofcom's figures in 2025 found that UK adults spent an average of 4.5 hours online each day on personal devices outside of work. And for 18 to 24-year-olds, it was 6 hours. That doesn't mean that all of that time is wasted because we talk to friends, learn things, watch films, and do plenty of genuinely useful things online. But it does explain how someone can feel as though they have no free time. But look at their screen time report and find an amount that resembles a part time job, but for some people, even a full time job. Scrolling wins because it asks almost nothing of us. A real hobby has friction. You have to buy the equipment, make sure it's clean or ready to use, travel to wherever this hobby is taking place, make a decision, risk looking foolish, and concentrate for far longer than 15 seconds. Your phone only asks you to move one thumb, and it can occupy you for hours, days. After a long day, that easy option usually wins. I was originally going to say that this is how hobbies died, that work took our energy, and phones took the time that remained, and social media made us afraid to be bad at anything. But that isn't quite right, because people still run, paint, cook, read, they grow plants in their garden, make music, play video games, and collect things. The activities are all still here. What we seem to have lost is the permission to do them privately, incorrectly, and imperfectly without a plan. And I think hobbies didn't actually die, but being an amateur did. And I don't mean amateur as an insult. I mean the person who does something because they love it, even if they never become exceptional or world champion or recognized for how good they are. Person who can play 3 songs on a guitar and is perfectly happy with that. Or the person who runs slowly, paints badly, loses all of their chess games, or joins a class without imagining the business they might build from it. And I think that's the part we need to bring back. Progress isn't the enemy, and becoming better is always a good goal. Whether that's a belt, a handicap, or a personal best, can all make a hobby more rewarding. The problem begins when progress becomes the price of participation or confirmation that you are doing that hobby. When an interest has to make us impressive, profitable, or productive before we allow it to matter. Maybe the best test is, would I still do this if I remained fairly average, made no money, and never posted the result? And if the answer is yes, that might be the closest thing to a real hobby we have left. But I think hobbies are starting to make a comeback. You can feel people looking for ways to get out of the audience and back into their own lives, whether run clubs, acting classes, book clubs, board games, knitting or something, film, photography, things that are slower, more physical, and often done with other people are beginning to feel appealing again. Not because they make us more productive, but because many of us are tired of turning every spare moment into consumption. We want to make something, practice something, meet somebody, or simply have an evening that leaves behind more than a blur of posts we can barely remember. Hobbies were never dead. I think they were buried under work, performance, and the fear of looking foolish. And perhaps bringing them back does not require finding the perfect passion or buying all the right equipment. It just requires choosing something, accepting that you will be bad at it, and letting that be enough for now. You don't need another side hustle. You might just need something you're allowed to enjoy.